Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. We're back with another team outlook. This time it's the Toronto Blue Jays, Blake's Toronto Blue Jays. It was an interesting offseason. It was looking bleak there for a while, but they did end up with Jeff Hoffman, Max Scherzer, Anthony Santander. They brought back Yami Garcia. They traded for Andres Gimenez. And then they brought in Ryan Yarbrough, Miles Straw, Nick Sandlin, and Amir Garrett on minor league deals. They did lose Jordan Romano, Spencer Horwitz, and Genesis Cabrera, among others, to the trade deadline last year.
Yep.
They did go 74 and 88 last year after kind of an injury riddled season with Bo Bichette going down.
Yeah.
Blake, how do you feel about the Blue Jays offseason? And before we get into that lineup, where's the confidence level this spring that they will be battling for the top of the AL East come back half of the year?
It's going to come down to their starting pitching, and it's going to come down to the health of Bo Bichette. That's the two main objectives and reasons why the Jays can get good. Hey, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. A lot has to go right for this team to make the playoffs, especially when you're going up against the gauntlet. The Red Sox got a lot better. The Yankees got a lot better. But I liked what the Jays did this offseason. They finally filled a hole that they haven't filled in the last 3 years since they traded Teoscar Hernandez, and that is finding somebody to hit four-hole behind Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit 323 last year and had absolutely zero protection. Now you slot in a guy that hit 44 homers behind him, a healthy Bo Bichette, Andres Gimenez in that bottom of the lineup, kind of turning the lineup over. Springer, what can they squeeze some juice out of Springer? He's getting up there in age. Varsho looks like he might be ready for the start of the season. It'd be interesting to see. Kind of, he's been DHing, nothing but DHing all spring. And then a guy like Alejandro Kirk. There's no Danny Jansen security blanket for the Jays anymore. This is his team. He's going to be the main guy back there. And obviously, they think that they can fill Ernie Clement and Will Wagner at third base. So I'm not sure if that's the right decision to do, but last year Ernie Clement had a pretty good year. He had a career high homers in a season last year. Their bench isn't great, but I like the starting pitching, and I think their bullpen is going to go a long way too in determining if they're a playoff team. Last year they had the worst WAR for a bullpen, and this year they're projected to be 10th. So a huge improvement in the bullpen. I love the addition of Yimi Garcia back there, and obviously they reunite with a guy like Jeff Hoffman, who essentially switches spots with Jordan Romano.
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of gone through it already, but this is how the lineup shakes out. It is Bichette, Guerrero, Santander, Springer, Varsho, Kirk, Jimenez, Clement, and Joey Loperfido. We'll see if that sticks or not out there. On the bullpen, or on the bench, I should say, it's Heineman, Wagner, Schneider, and Straw. Yeah, that bench is not good. You could say this for every single team in the league. Health is key, but man, like this team is similar to the San Diego Padres. Their bench is not strong. There's some pitching in there. They're top heavy,
Yeah,
especially those top four. Maybe I'll give you Kirk, maybe Jimenez.
yeah,
We'll see with Varsho. I mean, the average has to come up. He has to get on base a little bit more, but
yeah.
um, yeah. And cherry on top, this is probably the last season of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So if this team isn't at the deadline, are they going to go all in, or are they just going to ride out this wave?
Hey,
So,
listen, that's a very interesting question. With the payroll where it's at right now, if they're in a wild card spot or competing for the division at the deadline, they're gonna have to push their chips all in because, like you said, walk here for Bo Bichette. I think we're gonna get a very motivated Bo Bichette who didn't play much last year. Wouldn't surprise me if he returned to his former usual self at the top of the hits leaders for the American League. And a healthy Bo Bichette changes everything offensively for this Jays team.
yeah, in the rotation, they do have Gosman, Barrios, Bassett, Scherzer, and Francis. In the bullpen, Hoffman, Green, Garcia, Sandlin, who came over via trade, Little Pop, Nance, and Yarael Rodriguez, who will probably spend some time in the rotation and in the bullpen. So Alek Manoah will be back at some point this year.
Yep.
This team, I think they had a good offseason to kind of replenish this lineup. Again, health is key. Vlad looks good in spring. Santander should swing it. Springer scares me
Yeah.
somewhat. Bo Bichette scares me. Everybody else, we'll see if they can just be their usual self, or they might even need a little bit better than what they've done in the past,
Yeah.
and some improvements there. Fangraphs, they have them a 39% chance to make the playoffs. I think that's fair, but
Yep.
they only have them winning 82 games. I think this team, on paper, if it stays fairly healthy, outside of a Vlad or a Bo, like those guys got to stay healthy, but um, I would give them the over at 82 wins. Playoffs, with the Yankees' current injuries with Stanton and potentially Garrett Cole
Yeah.
being out for the year with that elbow, I'm gonna lean more so yes. I think it opens the door a little bit more in the AL East. Now, I think if the Yankees aren't gonna be the top, it will be the Red Sox. But
Yeah.
um, the Blue Jays, in my opinion, would have better pitching than the Yankees if um, Cole's out and Luis Hill is out for a while. So they could go toe to toe with them. The Red Sox are stacked pitching wise. The Orioles, they lost Corbin Burns. I know that offense is going to do its thing, but I'm unsure if I'm bought in on the pitching. Um, but I think the door opens a lot more with the Yankees injuries right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go over on the wins. Playoffs, I'm going to go
You're on the
I'm going to
fence
go
like me.
I'm on the fence. I'm going to go no. The only reason why I'm going to go no is because it's going to be such a competitive division
Yep.
that I feel like the AL Central will probably sneak in a team like they did last year,
Yep.
and potentially the AL West because that's a really open division. So
Yeah.
I think the Central and the West will sneak teams in, while the AL East will beat up on each other, and that's why I'll go no on the playoffs for the Jays.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point you made about the Yankees there. The Jays are gonna have to pitch it. I think they added enough to their offense. I would have loved one more bat. Like if you added a Pete Alonso to that lineup, we're talking a completely different outlook right now because that would have just lengthened everything. But um, I like the auditions offensively. That their pitching is going to be good. It's I'm getting a little excited watching Scherzer in spring. I know it's spring training, but it's a guy that looks really healthy. He looks sharp. The changeup is looked really good. So not a lot of expectations for him. I'm not sure because he had a couple injury riddled seasons, but he finally looks healthy. I'm with you too. I'm on the fence with the playoffs. I do think they'll win probably 84 to 85 games. Not sure that's going to be enough to get it done, but um, I'm hoping that it's a better season than it was last year. Because last year, man, I was checked out by like June. It was tough. It was tough season to watch the Jays, and I'm just hoping that Bichette and Vlad can stay healthy, have a good season. Even though there's their walk here, it'd be sad to see him go, but. I just want to have fun watching this team again because the last couple of years it's been pretty brutal.
Alrighty, well, gun to your head, Blake. Are they making the playoffs or not? Yes or no?
I don't think so. I don't. I think a lot has to go right for them to make the playoffs, and it's all going to come down to health. And they need a guy, one of the rookies, to step up. Whether it's Rodon, whether it's Loper, Fido, one of those guys has to break out and be like a guy for the Jays. I'm not saying like a make the All Star game, but just be a contributor off the bench. Like somebody's got to break out. I like the pitching. Their bullpen's a lot more improved, so it'll be close. But if you had a gun to my head like you do now, I'd probably say no.
Alrighty. Well, that's going to do it for this one. If you like this video, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. As always, we appreciate you guys for listening and watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.